At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. So glad you could join me here this morning on Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 7 a.m. Well, kind of an interesting day yesterday. Turned out to be a gorgeous day here in Northern California. Temperatures were in the low to mid 70s for those daytime highs for some of the warmer spots in the valley. That's about, 3-4 degrees above what I was expecting our highs to be. I was thinking maybe some of us might touch 71, 72, and we certainly did see that. There were other areas around the Redding Airport, for example, it got up to 74 degrees. It's been on the breezy side out there, though, yesterday. Bit that nuisance wind I was talking about, a good day to fly a kite, but overall, we really just didn't see much. When we look at the temperatures across the higher elevations, wasn't quite as warm. Temperatures mainly in the 50s, even some 60s out there as well. And of course, the big story, kind of on a national standpoint, of course, closer to home in Southern California, a new fire started during the gusty winds and the red flag warning criteria. The Hughes fire started. And the good news is we are seeing some decent containment on it this morning. So it looks like the firefighters have certainly got a good handle on it. But it spread very rapidly when the fire first started. And of course, that's just because, again, those winds were very much on the gusty side. So good morning, everyone. Let's get you to Krueger's Quickcast out there this morning. It is Thursday, January 23rd, which, by the way, today is National Pie Day. Now, of course, that's for the scientific term pie, right? But people like to, of course, celebrate by eating pie. What's your favorite pie? I don't know, maybe have pie today. Who knows, right? Let's take a look at those high temperatures we saw out there yesterday. Again, I was talking about how much warmer it got. Chico about 70, a little bit warmer up in Redding at about 74, but Oroville actually about 65. Out towards Susanville, 50 yesterday for that daytime high. So again, you can see, obviously, it was just kind of that warm spot in the valley. Otherwise, 50s and some 60s. Redway around Garberville, about 62. 64 in Hayfork, 59 for Weaverville, and those mid-50s for the coast. Looking at the temperatures out there right now, it is cold. The temperatures in the teens out to the north and east. Mount Shasta, 26-20. In Wairika, look at the temperatures in the valley. We're at 34 for Redding, probably even seeing some patchy frost. 37 for Chico, but places like Corning, 49. That's again because the winds are still blowing a little bit in some areas. We'll take a look at those winds here in just a second. But let's take a look at out the door this morning. Temperatures, as you saw in the valley, are going to be kind of varying anywhere between the 30s and low 40s. Trinity County, upper 20s, upper 30s for the coast. Low to mid 20s for Modoc County, the eastern mountains, and Siskiyou County right around that 31 degree mark, low 30s. Still looking at the sunny skies out there. Now, if you notice, we can kind of see, if you look closely, you see the arc in the clouds kind of up, that's just to the north and west of the Pacific Northwest. That arc in the clouds begins to flatten. That's because we got some colder air and a storm system riding over that ridge. That's the colder air that will eventually impact us later this weekend in the form of colder temperatures and winds, too. Now, speaking of the winds, you can see a little breezy, especially along I-5 around Red Bluff southward and in the foothills and even some of the eastern mountains. Now, as we take a look at the winds out there for today, looking at the forecast for today, we're actually going to start to see those winds die down. So we're most likely going to be looking at 5 to 10 miles per hour across the board as we go through the afternoon, so much calmer winds. But look at the coast Friday morning. The winds picking up there, winds picking up even for parts of Siskiyou and Modoc counties as well. And eventually, those winds picking up later in the day on Friday for everyone else. And we got some gusty winds in store for us for Friday night, Saturday, and even Sunday. All right, so here's your forecast for your Thursday. Temperatures around 70 in the valley, although as you head to the south, temperatures more like the mid-60s, 64 degrees for Oroville, 66 in Chico. And off to the east, out towards Lassen County, and of course the eastern mountains, temperatures in the 40s there, low 50s to the north and east, and there you can see low 60s for the coast, mainly sunny skies. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for the valley. There are those winds over the weekend and much cooler. Yeah, there's the back of my head. I kind of leaned back a little bit here. I got a small studio here, folks. 63 degrees on Monday, 62 on Tuesday. So yeah, we see the temperature drop over the weekend and then they start to increase again as we go into next week. No rain. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for the coast, inland, and for Trinity County. Breezy, borderline windy, especially for the inland areas. Weaverville, temperatures back down into the mid-40s. So yeah, again, along with the winds, we've got cold temperatures. Mid to upper 50s for Monday, Tuesday, and then of course we've got those temperatures kind of staying the same for Wednesday. Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains. Well, there, of course, you can see I'm keeping the chance for maybe a snow flurry on Saturday for, say, eastern Lassen, eastern Plumas. But as we look at kind of the deeper dive forecast, we're going to go into that, and we're going to take a look at Futurecast and show you just how, well, the chances are just not looking great. That's just the bottom line. So we'll take a closer look at that here a little bit later. I've been meaning to take that out of the rundown here. So let's take it out to some of these cameras. Wow, man, that looks nice. Looking out at Lake Oroville. Got a couple of high clouds out there this morning, making for a beautiful sunrise out there. Let's take a look at Lake Oroville, North Forebay. Once again, when we see the lake there and it looks like glass, that's a very good indication that the winds are on the calm side out at Lake Oroville this morning. And there's that little orange little flag there indicating that, yes, it is indeed a calm start to the day there. Here's a look at Main Street Chico, Highway 32. Traffic seems to be flowing okay there. How about Highway 99 at Neal Road? No big surprises here. Nothing to really report here. Just the same old as you'd expect this morning. Same situation on Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Well, what do you say we get into our NorCal Ag Report? As some of you may know, especially if you're involved in the ag community, a big event is going on in Red Bluff. Anybody know what it is? Can you think of it? Anybody? Bueller? Yes, of course, the Red Bluff Bull and Gelding Sale, the 84th annual. I had a chance to talk to BJ McFarland. He's the manager of the Red Bluff Bull and Gelding Sale. He's going to tell us more about that. And of course, one of the sponsors of they got several sponsors, and one of the sponsors, Elwood Ranch, as a matter of fact. So we're going to take a closer look at that in this week's NorCal Ag Report, sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal, and you are watching another edition of NorCal Ag, sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. We are at the Red Bluff Bull and Gelding Sale, and of course this is an annual event. And I've got BJ here. Of course, he's in charge of the whole operation here. So what's so exciting this year? I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that's going on, right?
Yep, it's a lot of the same stuff. It's exciting. It's our 84th year of the Red Bluff Bull and Gelding Sale. We have a little over 300 bulls we'll be selling. Today we're starting out with the sifting of the sifting and grading of the range-ready bulls. Tomorrow will be the halter bulls, and then we'll start on the dogs.
That's right, the cattle dogs, right?
Yep.
And those sell. I mean, those can sell for
upwards over $20,000.
It's amazing.
And people that they're worth it. They'll replace 3 or 4 guys. So
wow.
It's actually cost effective to have a really good dog like that.
That's pretty awesome.
And then the geldings on Friday night.
So the geldings on Friday night. This has been going on for 84 years. If you were to compare, of course you weren't around 84 years ago, I would assume, unless if you were, you look great for 84. But how would you compare what it was like 84 years ago compared to today?
We've evolved just as anything to stay around for 84 years.
Yeah.
We evolved with the industry, especially with the bulls, the genetics, the breeders that bring the bulls have changed in their genetics, progressed to what we need today. More efficient bulls, bulls that fit the environment here in the Western United States.
This is the big deal. I think I remember talking about this last year. This is one of the biggest in the nation, right?
Yes,
okay.
Consignment sale.
So Red Bluff is home to one of the largest. So behind us here, we've got Elwood Ranch.
Yes.
How is Elwood Ranch involved in it?
And a lot of the community people that support us, Elwood Ranch has stepped up the last couple years. We have a youth raffle where our foundation will buy animals for junior livestock throughout the county fairs, sports teams, anything youth will support because that is our future. So we want to support those people, and especially in agriculture. And so this raffle that we do, we sell 500 tickets at $100 a piece. And the grand prize is this side-by-side that's graciously donated by Elwood Ranch.
Nice.
And without the support from them, none of this would be possible, and we greatly appreciate it. As well, they're selling bulls this year. It's wrapped in together now, which is kind of cool.
You know, it seems like Kenny Elwood, who's the owner of Elwood Ranch, obviously, and of course Lassen County Nursery, it seems like he's very involved in the community, like a lot of different organizations and charities, really, right?
Yes, and his work at Turtle Bay and Redding, all the events, the agricultural events, the rodeos, he supports them because it's important to him, to the heritage of the Western way of life, and that he supports to keep it going. And
it definitely is a sense of pride because, again, you think kind of outside of the ranch, Lassen County Nursery, one of the largest strawberry farms in the world. It seems like it's a great honor to have him kind of centered here, right?
It is, and his support is awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard to put in words how much he supports everybody is.
No, it's excellent.
Especially us.
All right, so to wrap things up, we're at the bull and gelding sale. How long is this going on?
We'll go today. Tomorrow's free entrance.
And that's Wednesday.
And Thursday, it's $10 to get in, or $20 for 3-day pass. And I'll go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we end Saturday night with a bull riding, kind of a
bull riding,
a bronc riding, bull riding, and we got some kids riding ponies.
Oh, nice!
So that's kind of to cap off the week and have a little fun.
All right, well, that's excellent. I appreciate your time,
right,
JD, and it's going to be a great events going on out here, so be sure to come on by. Of course, as you're watching this on Thursday, this will be going on through Friday, right?
Through Saturday.
Just through Saturday, so be sure to come on and check it out. That has been Ag Report, sponsored by Lassen County Nursery. Once again, I want to thank Lassen County Nursery for sponsoring the NorCal Ag Report. Without Lassen County Nursery, this would not be possible. So once again, want to thank them, and of course for their support of Weather NorCal. Weather NorCal would not exist without our sponsors. So very, very much appreciative and grateful for all of our sponsors. Well, again, if you are planning on maybe checking out that bull and gelding sale, looks like they've got some great vendors out there as usual. You know, it's a lot of fun. If you've ever had a chance to go out there, I had a chance a couple of years ago actually it was just last year when I went out there, and you know it was really neat to see those cattle dogs. I mean, it's amazing to see them at work, and to think that these things can sell. These dogs can sell for $20,000+ It's amazing. I mean, I've got a cattle dog of sorts, and I can't imagine her being worth $20,000. She's priceless to me, as far as I'm concerned, with my dog. But you know, they really are amazing with what they do. So I can see how ranchers, want to invest that kind of money, because they can really help reduce some of their costs when it comes to having people on the ranch, kind of rounding up the cattle. I mean, I guess it's kind of a form of AI, or I'm going to say artificial intelligence, or computers, right? Computers taking jobs. These dogs are taking jobs, at least on the ranches, because they do such an amazing job rounding up that cattle. So it's really neat. And of course, just like I say, all the vendors that they have out there, the bull sale, the gelding sale, just a lot of great things going on, especially if you're involved in the ag community. And even if you're not in the ag community, it's really neat to see that culture. And to be around that culture, because it's something you may not be familiar with, and it's just something new, something fun. So be sure to check it out if you can as we go through the next few days. And of course, it goes all the way through Saturday. All right, let's check in with some of you this morning. We've got Curtis Brown saying, good morning, Mike, and everyone. He's saying it is actually strawberry rhubarb pie for him, if he has pie on this National Pie Day. You know, I'm going to say this, Curtis. I grew up in Minnesota, and my mom, we had a farm. It's not a farm. We did not have a farm. We had a garden, and she grew rhubarb. Now, as a kid, I know this sounds crazy, we used to take rhubarb from the garden, dip it in sugar, and just eat it. I know it sounds crazy, but I loved it. It was like my form. It was like my version of a Sour Patch Kid. that sugar really took off that bite of the really sour taste of the, but I could, if I really wanted to, I could also eat just the rhubarb raw. I love it. I absolutely love it. So my mom used to make just straight up rhubarb pie without the strawberries. And I've seen since then, I've grown up eating rhubarb pie. And then as I got into my adult years, I'm like, where's the rhubarb pie? It's always strawberry rhubarb pie. That's always been my biggest complaint. So Curtis, you're halfway there, but I enjoy straight up rhubarb pie. So that's one of my favorites. All right, so enough on that kick there. We got James and Mandy saying, have a great day, everyone. You have a great day as well. We got Bill Carlton, Rowdy Kelly saying in Fortuna, just off the coast there, you can see finally getting a little light outside at 7 a.m. Yes, we're starting to see more and more daylight. And keep in mind, winter, the first day of winter is always the shortest day of the year. After that, as we approach spring, as we approach spring and go through the winter season, the daylight hours begin to increase slowly day by day. So yeah, we're starting to see that here. We've got Ruth Sanchez saying good morning to everybody here. And we've got Pam Georgia Carver saying have a lovely day. You too. You too, Pam. And of course, I'd like for everybody else to have a lovely day as well. Well, let's get to our deeper dive forecast here. And we got to, of course, mention our sponsor. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Thanks to Wind River for their support of Coffee with Krueger and Weather NorCal in general. Let's take a look at those temperatures out there this morning. Again, this is one of those situations where I always talk about this, and it's the winds is really a big factor as to what our temperatures will be like in the valley. So right now the winds are calm at the Redding Airport, hence the 34 degrees. Fairly calm in Chico, 37, 36 in Orville. The winds are still blowing a bit. Now, we're not looking at windy conditions, but it's a bit breezy in some spots like Red Bluff, Corning, and Willows. And that's why the temperatures are up. Think of, a glass of water. And you've got cold water at the bottom and warmer water on top of that. That's going to be the typical. So if it's just sitting there, the warmer water is going to be on top and the colder on the bottom. So what happens if you take a spoon, mix it up? What happens? That warmer air mixes in with the colder air and it moderates the temperature of that water. Kind of the same concept with the atmosphere. You mix up the atmosphere, we start seeing temperatures warm up a little bit. But 34, calm winds. Look at the mountains. Alturas 15, 18 degrees for Susanville. Typical spots, right? North and east of the valley, coldest temperatures, but pretty cold even in Trinity County in the low 20s there. Upper 20s, low 30s in the inland areas, and even some cold temperatures along the coast, mid to upper 30s there. So cold mornings with areas of frost. Today's highs in the valley, not as warm as they were yesterday. We saw highs in the mid 70s yesterday, so some of the warmer spots. Today, I'd say 65 to 70, just depends on where you are. Now the winds, they're still a little breezy in spots today. They're dying down, but they'll pick back up here, especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night into Saturday. So a bit of a wind event coming in this weekend, actually, which we'll take a closer look here in a second. Also, I've been talking about for quite a while a chance for snow for some of the mountains. And over the last 2-3 days, it's been looking more and more like it's mainly in eastern Lass and eastern Plumas counties. But now that we can take a look at the shorter range forecast model, you'll see that it's backing off even more with that chance for snow than the longer range forecast models. We'll get into that here in a second. Let's start by Southern California. The big story yesterday, right? The big story was the new fire that started during the red flag warning conditions. So here we have gusty winds and very low humidity. What happens? A new fire starts. And of course it spreads rapidly. We got major acreage. This right here is this color. So if we were looking at this yesterday, it would have been red. All of this would have been red. So the good news is we're not seeing any recent activity. This activity we're seeing from the satellite is saying this is about 24 hours old. Good. We're also seeing 14% containment. Look at the Eaton fire, 95% containment. Of course, the Palisades fire. These numbers are just continuing to get higher and higher, which is good. We want the percentages of the containment to go up. but still a red flag warning. And this won't expire until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We also have a high wind warning for all of the areas here as well. Why? Because again, those gusty winds. So let's take a look at those winds over Southern California and look at how strong they are right here. Not a good situation out there for today. Now Friday, look at this. The winds are dying down significantly, huge, right? But what we're starting to see happen, the winds will pick back up again on Saturday. But much like what we saw last week, it'll be more of that onshore flow. So typically when the winds come off the ocean, it's going to be a little bit cooler and a little bit more, the humidity will begin to go up as well. Now, since this is fairly cold water, we typically don't see the humidity go up by a whole lot, but it still picks up a little bit here. But unfortunately, it will be breezy. I mean, you see the greens and yellows, that's 20 to even upwards of 30 miles per hour. But again, it's more of that southerly flow of winds. We're not seeing the Santa Ana winds, and it's not as dangerous. So as a result, the fire weather risk, yes, it's high today, right, because of those strong winds and low humidity. But look at this. As we go into Friday, because the winds are dying down, mainly green and a little bit of yellow in there. And then going into Saturday, even better, mainly just looking at the green colors. So conditions are expected to improve for Southern California over the next couple of days. But today, another high fire danger day. Okay, let's take you back to Northern California, right here, NorCal. That's what we're called here, Weather NorCal, not Weather SoCal, right? But I just wanted to show you that because I know, a lot of us have friends, family, and are just interested in general what's going down there, right? Especially with those fires. We just don't like to see that. All right, so let's take you back home, and you can see a little breezy out there this morning, especially down to the south for places like south of Red Bluff. Now the winds today, still a little breezy in some spots here, but they'll progressively die down. And I do expect the winds for today, even tomorrow morning, to generally be about 5 to 10 miles per hour. But what we'll notice here, winds picking up along the coast. Friday afternoon, the winds are picking up in the valley, even some of the higher elevations, mainly coming in from the north, northwest. And the direction of these winds, I'll show you why they're coming from that direction. Kind of interesting. We'll take a closer look at that. But look at this. By Saturday morning, now we're seeing over 30, 35 miles an hour. We could be eventually looking at some wind advisories in the next 24 to 48 hours. There you can see Saturday afternoon, still very gusty. And I tell you what, that's going to last into Sunday too. All right, so here's the big picture. I want to take a look at a loop here. And you see the arc in the clouds right here? You see how it's flattening out? Why is that? Well, we've got a storm system running to the north, and a cold one at that. So that colder air is going to ride to the north like we're seeing now, and eventually kind of the colder air will all still be up here, but some of that energy will spill down southward into Northern California, in California in general. Now, we've been talking about the chance for snow and rain. So with that system coming down from the north, could that bring us snow? That's what I've been tracking. That's what's been bringing us that potential for snow. But look at this. All right, so of course today, right, we got sunny skies. Now look at this. As we go into early tomorrow morning, this disturbance that's bringing us the clouds tomorrow morning, a few sprinkles. Now, is it out of the question for, especially to the north and east to maybe see a stray sprinkle, maybe even a couple of small, tiny snowflakes? Sure. You'll most likely be asleep when it's happening, and most likely it really won't even happen. It's just so dry. Now, as we go into tomorrow afternoon, those clouds moving out, we're looking at sunny skies again for most of us throughout the day on Friday. All right, let's take a look at this. So as that system dives down to the south, there it is. It's not looking very good, is it? So, you're looking mainly in southeastern portions of Plumas, at least based on this model. Now, I'm still calling for a chance, I'd say kind of painting that picture right about here. All of this area has at least a chance for a light snow flurry. Dusting of snow, chances are pretty slim at that, but we'll have to keep watching it. But again, keep in mind, this is Friday night, early Saturday morning. Look what happens as we go into Saturday afternoon. It all dives down to the south, and we're dry through the day on Saturday. The sunny skies. We do have over the Sierra the snow. Now, what you'll notice here, here's the ridge of the Sierra. Here's the western slope of the Sierra. Notice we're not seeing much snow on the western slope of the Sierra. It's the eastern slope of the Sierra that we're seeing most of that snow. And even that's not all that heavy. And look at it's picking up on a little bit of activity here for parts of the San Joaquin Valley. Would it be nice to see some rain there? Absolutely. Is it going to be significant? No, or not even close. Looks like some fog developing there as well, down towards Santa Maria. So there's that colder air I was talking about. See what happens? It's diving down to the south. There it is. This is a big drop in our temperatures. You know, we're seeing temperatures drop down into the 30s for many of the higher elevations, especially north and east of the valley. Now, it's getting colder in the valley, but not a massive drop. Mid-50s. That's the coldest it will get for the valley. Not a big deal. Mid-50s for the coast. So again, that coldest air really impacting especially the eastern mountains, Modoc County, even Siskiyou County as well. Then that moves on out of here. We got more mild air moving in. Not terribly warm, not as warm as it is now, but it is warming up as we go into early next week. So looking at the Climate Prediction Center, you know, we had a lot of blue on the map here all week long. And now we're in that near normal category. So yeah, temperatures are starting to moderate as we get towards the end of the month and early February. So let's take a look at that chance for snow again and what that's going to also do to our winds. So there it is right here. See this trough? This is colder air that's beginning to migrate in our direction. So temperatures do start to drop on Friday, but we're still not seeing them drop significantly, just about a 5, 6, 7 degree drop. Then you see how it's happening, see how it dives down to the south. So much like that shorter range forecast model we just looked at, not much going on, is there, in the way of snow? Now, that is going to bring us the gusty winds Saturday. Low pressure moves down over Southern California. Yeah, this is good to see, right? Maybe some rain and snow there. Still not a lot, by the way. Classic setup, though, for gusty winds both Saturday and Sunday. High pressure here, low pressure down to our south. There's the clockwise rotation around that high, turning into the counterclockwise rotation around the low. So remember when we saw the winds coming out of the north-northwest, coming out of the north-northeast. That's again because of this classic setup that we got going on right here. So that's what we got going on Saturday and Sunday with those gusty winds. But eventually, as we go into Monday, Tuesday, that all kind of shifts eastward. The winds are dying down, maybe still a little breezy even on Monday, but then by Tuesday, Wednesday, the winds die down. But speaking of Wednesday, and speaking of next week, what's this? Is this a storm system that looks like it's holding on strong and getting closer to us than we've seen for quite a while? It is. But here's the thing. Based on the forecast model data, it looks like it may break apart before it actually gets here. Now, it could bring maybe some showers by the end of next week for places along the coast, Siskiyou County, Trinity County, but everyone else at this point still looking fairly dry. But this is a pattern worth watching, and this is a good sign because even though we may not get much out of this one, this is going to break away at the pattern, the blocking pattern that we're seeing now, and hopefully any storms that come in behind it, we can maybe get some of that rain and snow. It's a long ways out, folks. We've still got a lot to iron out, but we've still got dry conditions here through a majority of next week, too. There you can see the drier than normal conditions, but look at this. See how now we're January 29th through February 2nd. Now, what's significant about this, you're saying, well, what's the big deal? Green is what we really want to see over us, right? Because that means there's a better chance of seeing above normal rainfall. However, we're getting out of the drier and getting in the near normal. So what this is saying is, hey, listen, we could still see some rain, it just won't be a lot. But this is a sign of some of that change we could possibly see toward the end of the month and early next month, February, going into February. All right, so let's take a look at those lake levels here. 121% of the historical average for Lake Shasta. Haven't seen this change much over the last few days. Now, you can see a slight increase here, a slight increase here, very slight increase for Lake Oroville. So we're still seeing them go up a little bit here. But, you know, a lot of that has to do with release. How much are they releasing? And that may change here. But overall, looking good. Ski report, not bad either. They're still making snow up on those mountain ski resorts and Mount Shasta Ski Park. But we are seeing that number dwindle through the week. We were at 57 inches the last couple of days. Now we're down to 55. But, you know, you look at the runs that are open for Mount Shasta Ski Park and everybody else. I mean, we're talking basically around 100%. So things are still looking good out there if you like to get out there and ski or snowboard. Wave heights for today, not that much of an issue, but look at this. By Friday, they're really starting to increase here. So as a result, No small correct advisory today, but there will be a small correct advisory starting Friday afternoon. Otherwise, winds today from the north at 5 knots and waves from the northwest at 3 feet at 7 seconds and from the west at 3 feet at about 13 seconds. All right, here's what it looks like today, your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mainly in the mid-60s. It might be overdoing it here for places like Coffee Creek, Trinity Center, but you get the idea. Another warm day out there for today. 61 degrees for Peanut, 64 degrees for Forest Glen, Ruth, maybe about 70. Still dry for the next 7 days. There's your North Coast neighborhood forecast, mid-60s for Highway 101 there, 63 in Honeydew and 60 in Shelter Cove. Out towards Ferndale, 63, Fortuna, 64. They're the windy conditions we do have over the weekend across the board. Everyone's going to see those winds, some worse than others. I think some of the inland areas will call it breezy Saturday, probably a little bit stronger on Sunday. But you'll also notice the temperatures dropping for everybody over the weekend. Not so bad for the valley westward. So inland, the coast, mainly mid-50s, right? Still windy though, even for the coast here for Saturday, Sunday. But where we're going to see those colder temperatures over the weekend, it will be places like Wairika. You're down to the low 40s, still windy there. Wairika about 50. 50 for Grenada today, 50 for Gazelle. Temperatures mid to upper 50s along Highway 96. For Scott Valley, today around 50. We're only getting up to 37 on Saturday, but back up to 42 Sunday, and then slightly warmer for Monday, Tuesday. To the central and eastern Siskiyou County, look at Mount Shasta. You're only getting up to 38 for your high on Saturday. It's getting cold. Now, keep in mind, too, when it's windy and cold, you got what's called a wind chill factor. We don't really talk about that a whole lot around here, but typically what that means is when those winds are blowing during these cold days, it makes it actually feel colder than it is. So even though the temperature will be 38, it'll probably feel colder than that. All right, we'll take you out to Modoc County, and you can see about 46 degrees for Fort Bidwell, 49 in Newell, and 52 degrees for Canby. Look at that high for Alturas on Saturday, 35, 38 Sunday, but back up into the 40s by Monday, Tuesday of next week. All right, let's take a look at the Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. 53 for Fall River Mills, 54 in Bieber, 61 for Montgomery Creek, and 62 degrees for Paynes Creek. Bernie, quite cold, but you're dry. Now notice I've got the word chance in here for Lassen Park and for Chester. And why is that? Because, again, that system that's been coming down here. Now, it says Saturday, but it's mainly going to be a Friday night, Saturday morning chance. Otherwise, we're dry on Saturday. We're dry Sunday, and then dry through most of next week as well. All right, we take it down to the south. Paradise, a high of 64 today, 54 for Mineral, 52 degrees for Greenville and Susanville. Also that chance Friday night, Saturday morning for maybe a flurry or two. But Paradise, you'll be dry, just windy over the weekend. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Temperatures basically 65 to 70. Now, some of us could get up to 70, maybe even 71 for parts of the valley. Just not as warm as it was yesterday. I mean, 74. Didn't break any records, by the way, but it still was a very warm day yesterday and will be again today. Windy, cooler for Red Bluff as we go into the weekend. And, of course, that's the case for Redding as well. 65 degrees on Friday. Windy, mid to upper 50s here for Saturday, Sunday. And Monday, looks like it's warming back up again. Low 60s for your Monday and Tuesday. Let's see here. This is fun, of course. We were talking about Pie Day. And we've got Mark saying, because we were talking about my favorites, rhubarb, straight up rhubarb, no strawberries in there, folks. And then Mark is saying, are there any places having specials on pies today? Rhubarb pie is the best. I agree with you, Mark. I don't know. Isn't there a place called where bread meets pie or something like that? I'd say that would be a good place to go. I think it's where, let's Google it. I think there's a place called where bread meets pie. Yeah, that's the place. Or no, where pie meets bread. And they are, where are they located? They're on 1768 Churn Creek. That's the, on Churn Creek, there's a kind of a shopping complex, kind of where Kubler's Furniture is, kind of tucked away in there. They've got, that's where they are. Quaint place, by the way, really nice. So I would say that would be a really good place to go. When pie meets bread, they've got pies. Let's take a look at their pies. So they got cherry pie, apricot pie, apple crumble pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie, or pecan, however you say it, boysenberry, lemon meringue, key lime, chocolate, cream, coconut cream. There it is. Oh, rhubarb and no strawberries. They've got rhubarb pie. And then, of course, right below that, it says strawberry rhubarb. You know what? I think I know where I'm going today. Rhubarb pie. Always reminds me of my mom. She made the best rhubarb pie. I tell you what, folks, she made the best. The best. Oh, our moms always make the best everything, right? But she also used to make rhubarb crumble too. So that was one of my favorites. So yeah, check it out. Go to, in fact, I'm gonna put it on here, just so you can see in case you're interested, especially if you live in the Reading area, right? When pie meets bread. There it is. Let's go ahead and put this on the big page here so you guys can see it. There it is. Let's go ahead and put it full screen. And so there it is. There's the pies. And I was showing you, oh man, doesn't that look good? Man, oh man, how about pie for breakfast? But there are all the different pies that they have. And those are all the ones that I kind of listed off here. When pie meets bread. So where are they located? Let's find out. Here it is. Right there. 1768 Churn Creek Road. Again, within that area. They got pastries, they got bread, they've got drinks. Really cool place. Again, I highly recommend you go check them out. And the owners are fantastic people. They're always very welcoming and say hello to everybody and just very nice and great bread. Now, you know me, I'm not a big carb person. I try to stay away from carbs, but if I'm going to have some carbs, this would definitely be a good place to go. All right, fun. Free advertising. They're not even advertisers. I'm just, helping you find out a place where you can get some pie on National Pie Day. And I'd say that that's probably one of the best places. If you can think of anywhere else, let me know. Tell me. Put us in the comments section below. We've also got, let's go back to the camera here. There we go. We've also got, who's coming up on here? Good morning from Shirley saying good morning. 50 degrees in North Reading at 7 a.m. And then, of course, we got Steve Morgan saying, Mike, thanks for the update. Well, glad I could be here this morning for you. If you're looking for a forecast, we've got it for you. Well, what do you say we wrap things up, folks, and get you out there and ready for the day? I hope I was able to do that for you. Here's a look at some of the cameras. We're going to wrap up the show, call it a day, or call it a morning. Not a day. We still got a day ahead of us. And we will see you again for your Friday edition. Yes, tomorrow's Friday. Yes. For your Friday edition of Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Till then, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.